Hey everyone, welcome back. So today's Wednesday, and today was a fun day in the markets. We started out great in the morning, but then after Papa Powell spoke later on in the afternoon, provided us with 50 basis points increase in the interest rate, things went south, and they went south quickly. So we'll take a look at the markets. Bitcoin actually was able to squeeze out at least a somewhat of a percentage gain, not very much. Ethereum was actually down. But we'll look at all that. Miners were all over the place. We had Marathon hit a new 52-week low along with Soluna and TerraWolf. So we'll look at all the miners here. Some were up, some were down, some were way up today because of some news, but we'll cover all that. And then we got Core Scientific was up today 90%. We'll take a look at what actually caused that rally. And then we'll also take a look at Cleanspark. They provided their fiscal year ending results. We won't go over the results too much. I'm still waiting on their 10K filing. And they provided a 500 million ATM also. And then we'll also go over the conference call, which I attended. So, and they provided also lower guidance for 2023. So we'll get through all of that as well, okay? And as always, you guys know the drill here. This is not financial advice, for entertainment only. Do your own research. Don't fall for scams. Spam posts get reported and deleted. I'm invested in the following coins and companies for full disclosure. And if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. Okay, so let's get into the markets here really quick. And here we go. So the S&P was, well, let's get into the 1 hour chart. We can kind of see how things started out. In the morning, things started out going up nicely. We were in the green, but then just a couple hours before the end of the market, Papa Powell spoke, and they are talking about getting us to between 5 and 5.5% by the time everything is said and done on the interest rate. Market did not like that. So we went down and pretty hard here in the last 2 hours, 1 hour. The last hour was actually kind of in the green here, but the S&P was down 0.6% to 3,995. Dow Jones was down 0.42% to 33,966, and the NASDAQ was down 0.79% to 11,740. Bitcoin had a wild ride today also. You can see on the 1 hour chart that it went as high as 18,385, and then it came down in the last couple hours after the Fed chair spoke, and we came crashing down pretty hard along with everybody else. So what did we close at today? Let's see here. Let's go to the daily chart. So on the daily chart, we were, you can see this huge wick up here, and we came down, but we closed at, what was it, 17,804. We were up 0.18%. Our low was 17,660, and our high was 18,385. So we breached the 18,000 mark, which we struggled to do yesterday, but we were able to do it today, but we didn't stay above it. So we'll keep an eye on that one. On the forward chart, we can see that the RSI did come down here to 66. Last time we were right around here was back here. Price was lower, so we're looking good still there. 1 hour chart also, RSI had come down to 49. Last time we were over here. Price was way lower, also about $800 less. So that's a good sign also. Looks like a little bit more bullish continuation here, I think, okay? Ethereum was actually, let's take a look at it on the daily chart. It was down today 0.98% to a close of 1,307. We hit a low of 1,300 and a high of 1,351 on it. Okay, so there's the markets, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Let's take a look at the miners here really quick. Annie was up 4% today to 36. Argo was up nicely today to 15.56% to 5 cents. Bit Digital was up 0.59% to 75 cents. BITFARMS was down 2.98% to 52 cents. Cleanspark was able to squeak out a win here at 1.79%, but it's down in the after hours right now. It's down to $2.19. Core Scientific was up 69.72% today to 25 cents. We'll take a look at what's going on there. It's up another 50% or so in the after hours to 39 cents. So the news that came out, investors are liking it. Core Scientific, or DigiHost, was down 1.94% to 50 cents. DMG was up 0.26% to 15.5 cents. Greenidge was up 0.18% to 44 cents. Hive was up 2.05% to $1.99. Hot 8 was up 0.96% to $1.05. And let me take that off. Iris Energy was up 2.96% to $1.39. Luxfolio was flat. Marathon was up 1.29% to $4.72. Mawson was up 2.79% to 28 cents. Riot was up 1.97% to $4.15. And Soluna was down 2.36% to 41 cents. Stronghold was flat at 51 cents. And Wolf was down another 7.58% to 64 cents. Okay, so that's all the miners. Let's take a look at the network hash rate, see what's going on there. And let's refresh this. And where are we? We're still at the same 260, so that hasn't changed yet or updated from when we checked it yesterday. Let's take a look at the 1-day chart here. And yeah, same spot that it was yesterday, 280. So it hasn't updated yet. We'll take a look at it tomorrow if things change. Okay, so let's get into our first story here, which is BITFARMS. So BITFARMS received NASDAQ notification regarding minimum bid price deficiency. They've been under $1 for the last 30 business days and stock price. So they got this nice little letter here, and they have 120 days to fix this. Let's see. So that puts them at June 12, 2023, until they have to get above the dollar. The company intends to continue to monitor the bid price of its shares and, to the extent necessary, evaluate available options to regain compliance with NASDAQ's minimum bid price rule within the compliance period. So we got some time, not a big deal there. If Bitcoin starts going back up in price, I see them getting above $1 without a problem here. But that's just my thoughts. Okay, so that was just a quick little blurb there to keep you guys posted. Next is the story on Core Scientific. So this came out, when did this come out? Right around 1 p.m. And you can see here, if we go back to Core Scientific stock price, you can see when that news came out, where's Course? There it is. Let's go to the 1 hour chart. You can see here the last 2 hours when that story came out, it just pumped, and it pumped good too. I mean, right now we are up. Oh, it's not showing me the after hours right now, but we're up to, maybe it did. We're up 30, yeah, we're at 39 cents right now. So we've gone up basically from here to this point, 164%. So we are way up there as far as just in the trading that has happened in the last couple hours here. Okay, so let's take a look at what that actually means, what that story was about, or that press release. And so B. Riley Financial issues open letter to Core Scientific investors. This was seen by, I guess, investors as a lifeline for Core not to file bankruptcy. So we'll get into all of this here. So proposes debt restructuring to Core Scientific board in order to avoid bankruptcy. So B. Riley, in light of Core Scientific's strategic alternative process with respect to its capital structure, B. Riley has engaged with the company to restructure its debt and provide liquidity to avoid potential unnecessary and value-destructive bankruptcy proceedings. This is really good for them. This is one creditor or lender that's working with them. They're hoping that the other lenders will work with them as well. Let's read all of this here because this is really interesting here. So we believe that there is a path forward and have been proactive in working through a solution, specifically by providing debt on a number of unencumbered assets. B. Riley strongly urges the company's board of directors to work with creditors expeditiously to achieve a productive resolution for the benefit of all Core Scientific stakeholders, which I think is great. We know that there's a lot of debt out there, and they've gotten themselves into a little of a pickle here with the Bitcoin price coming down, hash rate going up and everything else. So they're trying to help them out here, trying to extend the timeline to when they have to repay some of these debts. So here's the open letter from them. Dear fellow shareholders and lenders of Core Scientific, on October 26, 2022, Core Scientific announced that it would be suspending all principal and interest payments coming due in October and early November to several of its equipment lenders and for other financings, including its two bridge promissory notes. The company also stated that it was exploring strategic alternatives with respect to its capital structure and suggested that all options, including bankruptcy, were on the table. Since then, Core Scientific's common shares have declined 86% and currently trade at 15 cents per share, representing a market capitalization of approximately 15 million. We know that they have a lot of assets that are worth way, way, way more than that. So they have been beaten down really bad. As one of Core Scientific's largest creditors, this announcement took us by surprise. I'm sure it did. Bankruptcy is not the answer and would be a disservice to the company's investors. It will destroy the value of the company's shareholders, reduce potential recoveries for the company's lenders, deplete its limited resources, and create massive uncertainty for all its stakeholders, which is true. Okay. Continuing on here. Moreover, bankruptcy is not necessary at all. In our opinion, the vast majority of Core Scientific's issues are self-imposed and can be corrected in conjunction with an open, transparent discussion and ongoing participation with its creditors and equity holders. So they are kind of blaming Core on this, right? It's kind of self-imposed. Nobody really knew that what was going to happen in a year from when they started getting all this financing. To that end, B. Riley has proposed to Core Scientific's board of directors that it would provide $72 million in new non-cash pay financing on favorable terms, providing more than 2 years of runway for the company to achieve profitability. Now, 2 years, I think, is plenty of runway if history repeats itself. That's a big if. Bitcoin has been through these bull markets, bear markets. We are now in a bear market. We're possibly getting close to the end of that bear market. Given where we are right now, I could see Bitcoin rebounding and possibly getting to a new all-time high within the next 2 to 3 years. We are also close to the next halving event. We're only about 15 months now from that. Typically, Bitcoin starts running up before it and after it. So this would coincide well with that. Okay. Continuing on here, so this is a far superior approach for all constituents, one that would avoid bankruptcy while preserving meaningful value for all Core Scientific shareholders. I agree there. Our proposal and analysis are as follows. Core Scientific currently has approximately $300 million of equipment and other loans. B. Riley's outstanding loan is $42 million that have a very short maturity. These loans were made when the price of Bitcoin was significantly higher than it is today, and the theoretical payoff on miners was significantly faster, which was true back then. But things went south quickly. Continuing here, so these debts were incurred as part of an aggressive, ill-conceived strategy by the company to continue to build out power facilities and expand miners while never selling Bitcoin on hand and never hedging prices. So it looks like even B. Riley here thinks that it is a better approach to sell Bitcoin. Maybe not all of it, maybe part of it during bear markets, bull runs, whatever you might have. You know, when you're selling Bitcoin at 69,000, you're getting a heck of a lot more money than you are when you're selling it right now. Okay, let's continue on here. This approach has led to the company having to sell all of its inventory, representing 9,618 Bitcoin in April 2022, valued at $362 million at a massive loss, which we talked about when they did do that. They had no choice, really. This decision, combined with the fast maturity associated with the mining, has led the company to its current position, which is true. Our analyst, Lucas Pipes, has been following the Core Scientific since February 10th, 2022. Based on his model, adjusted for current metrics, even at a Bitcoin price of 18,000, Core Scientific can generate an adjusted EBITDA of around 140 million. Additionally, if the company builds out the Denton, Texas facility for an incremental $40 million of capital, that could add an additional 25 million of EBITDA, resulting in a run rate EBITDA of $165 million. That's at the $18,000 price tag for Bitcoin. Sorry. On top of that, every 1,000 increase in the price of Bitcoin would likely add up to 20 million of EBITDA, meaning that if the price of Bitcoin were to increase to 20,000, adjusted EBITDA could be over 200 million on a run rate basis. If Bitcoin price returns to 24,500, we estimate that Core Scientific will generate nearly 275 million of adjusted EBITDA to service creditors, which is true. So here's our proposal. So our proposal is simple. It provides sufficient liquidity to avoid bankruptcy. B. Riley's proposal does not purport to haircut out amounts owed to the company's equipment lenders. So that's good, right? So the lenders aren't taking a hit. They're able to recoup their money lent out, but in maybe a little bit longer time frame. B. Riley is prepared to fund the first 40 million of financing immediately with zero contingencies. So that's great. For the remainder of B. Riley's proposed new financing at Bitcoin prices of 18,500 and below, all principal payments to equipment lenders would need to be suspended until the price of Bitcoin recovers to 18,500. Okay, so that's kind of their line in the sand, I guess you could say, where at that point, Core has enough funds to possibly start paying the lenders back. They also have to take into account, however, the network hash rate. If the network hash rate goes up, you're going to have to increase that line a little bit each time that happens because you're going to be making less. So they got to be mindful of that as well. In 2 months, if Bitcoin stays at this range and the hash rate continues to grow, that 18,500 might need to become 19,500 line in order for that to happen. So it should be more fluid, I think, with the network hash rate difficulty and everything else like that. Okay, continue on here. Once that happens, the proposal provides free cash flow will be distributed in cascading amounts to equipment lenders in the form of interest and partial principal payments until they are made whole. So that's a pretty good plan there. As Bitcoin continues to rise, additional free cash flow will be distributed in increasing amounts. In the meantime, all interest payments to equipment lenders and B. Riley itself under its outstanding bridge loan will be paid in kind for 1 year to provide additional runway for the company. So that's great. We have had extensive discussions with the company's equipment lenders and believe this path should be acceptable to them. So that's good news there as well, right? When you read all this stuff, there's a lot of good news and there's some things that could be worked out. Okay, so that leaves the convertible debt. There is no reason to address this debt at the present juncture. It has more than 2 years remaining to maturity and only 17 million of cash interest payments. It is a piece of paper that was put in place to withstand a reduction in the price of Bitcoin. To address this now is unnecessary. If every oil producer had decided to restructure its debt 2 years ago when oil traded in the single digits, the only beneficiary would have been those that participated in an unnecessary restructuring. Okay? So they're saying just don't worry about that right now. We have 2 years. After that point, we can worry about the convertible debt. And now, time is of the essence. We have extensive experience advising and participating in review process. It is expensive, and when the train gets going, it is hard to stop. Fortunately, due to our involvement with the company, we are prepared to move forward with our alternative superior proposal immediately. So that's good. We are also prepared to work with all stakeholders to achieve the best outcome under the circumstances. In our view, it would be a gross violation of fiduciary duties owed by the Board of Management for those and management for those fiduciaries who must put our interests ahead of their own to authorize a Chapter 11 filing. We strongly urge the Board of Directors to work with us expeditiously to achieve a productive resolution for the benefit of all Core Scientific stakeholders. So this is great news. If they can get this done with the other creditors and lenders, giving Core a little bit more runway room in order for Bitcoin price to start going back up. They're mining like 50 Bitcoins a day right now, 50 plus. Let's see if we can figure out how much that's actually going to be. I forgot to do this beforehand, so we'll kind of do this on the fly here. We'll go to, let's go to this website here, whattomine.com. Let's see here. Okay. Whattomine.com. Let's go to ASIC, see what that would get us. So they're mining 50 BTC a day. Where are we at? That's Bitcoin. That's a lot of Bitcoins there. That's too much. 266,000 Bitcoins. 77. Let's go. Where are they now? I think they are at around 14. Somewhere around there. Let's calculate that. I believe that's it. That gets us to 201. That's too many zeros there. Let's try that. Calculate. Okay, that's still 200. Why is it coming up 266,000 BTC? That terahashes. It's not 1.4. What's going on with the calculator here? Something's not right there. We're getting a lot. Terahashes. Why is that not working properly? Something's funky on this one. But I would think, hold on a second. Let me see if I can find it here and we'll get back to it. So bear tight with me while I do this. I'm going to put you over here for now while I open up my applications here. Sorry about this. I should have had this ready yesterday. Let's just take a quick peek at the numbers here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Okay. It's not opening. What's going on here? Oh, there we go. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, we're back. Now, let's go into Core Scientific. They are producing 50 BTC a day right now, with that being, what is that at? November, 50 BTC at price of, what is it, 18,000 right now, 17,800. That would mean they need to make, let's see, we'll just do this really quick. Some dummy numbers to put in here. We'll do that one day, 18,827. Let's see here. That's the revenue from it. We need this divided by 17,000. Oh, gosh, I really should have done this earlier instead of doing it now on the fly. That's if they had 1 day of mining with 290. They are at 14 exahash. There we go. Okay, divide that equals this, divided by 17,800 roughly. That gets us to 51. So they would be at 14 exahash right now. What do we have them at currently? In the previous month, they were at 14.398. So it does seem like they're running a little bit more than they have in the past, I guess. That would get us to 51 BTC per day. So, and they were running, let's see here, running 24 days in October. We still don't have the numbers for November. So, I mean, looks like they're running pretty good right now. All right, let's undo everything here that we did. Okay. So, with 50 BTC a month, we're looking at, was at close to 1,500 BTC right now. They mined 1,295 in October. Don't know November numbers yet, but right now they're looking close to being at 1,500 BTC. So 1,500 BTC, and if Bitcoin goes back up to, let's do the math here, 1,500 BTC equals, let's say Bitcoin goes back up to 24,500. That is 36,000, no, wait, 36,750,000, which is a big increase from where they are right now. And then the Bitcoin goes even higher from that. So it does have potential for them to get out of this, but it's going to be a little tricky for them to do it. And with the help of B. Riley, I think they might be able to pull it off. But it also depends on the other lenders as well. So this is why it pumped today, which is good. Especially everybody that's still stuck in there. A lot of people might have gotten out of it, but those that stuck into it, this might be a kind of a lifeline for this stock to possibly do really well in the future if they can pull this off. Okay, so that's that one. Let's take a look at Cleanspark here really quick as well before I ramble on too long. And then, yeah, Cleanspark reports fourth quarter and year-end FY 2022 financial results. We won't go into them too deeply. I'm still waiting for them, excuse me, to report the actual 10K filing. Once they do that, then I'll have all the numbers that I need to put into my spreadsheets, and then we'll take a look at it, more of a deep dive into it when that happens. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so here's just the high level overview of it. So 2022 revenue of 131.5 million, net loss of 57.3 million. And adjusted EBITDA of 65.7 million. So that's good. Their Q4 revenue of 226.2 million, net loss of 42.3 million, and adjusted EBITDA of 2.9. They did put in a bunch of stuff in here that was non-cash expense, I believe. Current hash rate surpasses 5.8 exahash, and daily mining high reaches 21.7 BTC. So they were saying they're going to get to 5.5. Now they're already at 5.8. They are saying that they might get by the end of this month to 6 exahash, which is just fabulous. They've been continually under-promising and over-delivering with their expansion. It's been great. Okay, let's take a look at the big takeaways here. So this is from Gary V, the CFO. Our revenue for fiscal year 2022, which ended on September 30th, was 131.5 million, almost 250% increase over the prior year. However, we recognized a net loss of 57.3 million for the year, of which 42.3 million occurred in the fourth quarter. That's just the quarter that we ended. The majority of these fourth quarter losses were primarily due to impairment of goodwill and Bitcoin balances, as well as non-cash charges due to modification of equity instruments. Don't know what that means. I'm not a financial guy here. But they threw a lot of stuff in there, it looks like. Even then, our adjusted EBITDA was 65.7 million, a 500% increase over the prior year, which represents the power and scale of our business model, which is true, which is a huge increase for them. Our rapid growth has continued subsequent to our fiscal year end as we approach 6 exahash, exceeding our calendar year end guidance once again. Right? They originally said they're going to get to about 5, then they said 5.5. Now they're saying they'll get to 6 exahash. Let's see here. Going down here. Financial results for the 3 months ended September 30th. Revenue was, for the quarter, grew to 26.2 million, an increase of 3.3 million, or 14% from 22.9 million for the same period a year ago. This is actually really good because at that time, Bitcoin price was a lot higher where they were. they didn't have as many miners. So even though prices come down in Bitcoin really hard, they have managed to install more miners in that time frame to make up for it and still come out on top, where a lot of the other miners are struggling to do that. So that's really good. The company recognized a net loss for the 3 months ended September of 42.3 million, an increase of 683 compared to 5.4 million for the same period, but they threw in a lot of stuff in that one. Adjusted EBITDA decreased to 2.9 million, a decrease of 73% from 10.6 million in the same period a year ago, and that's also based on margins. Bitcoin price has come down. Margins were a lot better back then. They are a lot worse right now, so that makes sense. The company also saw sequential revenue decreases in the fourth quarter compared to the previous quarter, and they talked about it why already. Assets, cash was 20.5 million, Bitcoin 11.1 million, and total current assets of 50.8 million. So this is just a top level view on it. Let's see here. Total assets 452.6 million, which is good. Liabilities and stockholder equity, current liabilities of 34 million. So if you take their total current assets, they have enough to pay their total current liabilities and their total liabilities of 48.6 million. So that's good there. Now, 2023 outlook and commentary. Management will discuss plans for 2023, including a revision to its calendar 2023 year-end guidance on its conference call today. Earlier this year, the company announced a partnership with Lancium. As part of the agreement, Lancium agreed to build clean campuses in West Texas to host 200 megawatts, or about 6.6 exahash for them. Lancium unfortunately informed Cleanspark that capital constraints have affected their ability to meet their commitments. Expected completion dates have been pushed into late 2023, and based on current market conditions, perhaps even later. So that's not good there. So they have revised their year-end guidance. So for this reason, Cleanspark's management team is revising 2023 calendar year-end guidance to 16 exahash from their original 22 exahash that they were looking to get to. Okay. I might as well just talk about the conference call right now. Let's see, what else do we have here? Conference call. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so let me talk about the conference call here as far as what I heard on it. Got my piece of paper here and some notes that I took while I was listening to it. Okay, so here we go. So number one, we're also going to talk about the 500 million ATM, which they discussed. They said that they are going to use that to fund strategic growth when needed, and things like that, which they always say, which is okay. But they're adding it. Well, we'll take a look at it here. Dilution, they talked about it. They have been pretty good at not diluting a lot. They have been using the Bitcoins that they mined to fund operations and growth, which is true. So they kind of pointed that out. They also spoke about the Lancium co-location deal. They are working with them, and they're going to, what's the word they use there? They said that they're going to try, basically what they're doing is under-promising, and hopefully they can over-deliver based on their current record that they've had. Right, for this year, they've under-promised, over-delivered on it. So they're going to try to do the same thing next year, if possible, when that happens. They also talked about electricity and increasing profit margins. So they are looking to do some curtailment when it's beneficial to them with electricity on it, which is okay. They provided uptime, I think for this month has been 90% right now. So they are turning off the miners for 10% right now when it is beneficial for them to do so, to increase profits that way. Their blended power cost of just a little bit north of 0.05 cents per kilowatt hour. So that's for all their sites, and that's where they are at right now, which isn't too bad, but it's not the greatest. There are companies that have a little bit lower, I believe. TeraWolf is going to be under that. Right is, I think, under that as well. Hut, along with Cleanspark, or Hive as well, are under that a little bit, I believe, or close to that as well. They are working on a longer-term power commitments to lower the cost early into 2023. That's going to possibly happen when they think prices are going to come back down a little bit on that one. Okay. And then there was a question asked on rigs. Where are they seeing the price for rigs right now? They're saying between $11 to $19 per terahash, but on the lower end, and it all depends whether they're used or in the box still. And they believe prices are going to stay suppressed for the short term, but they will probably rebound when Bitcoin starts rebounding in the future on that one. Okay. So they seemed pretty optimistic on the conference call, that they are going to be able to get to at least 16, if not better, next year, which still is pretty good because 22 was definitely a high number for them to reach. So we have a little bit of update on that, which is fine. That's not too bad. they did say that they are not going to be looking into getting into hosting. So they're going to continue to do their self-mining, but they are going to be doing the co-location with Lancium possibly. But otherwise, they will not do hosting themselves for any customers or anything like that, which I think is a pretty good bet because a lot of companies this past year have gotten into trouble because of hosting. We've seen it with Core. We've seen it with what's the other one? Marathon, and them using a hosting provider and things like that. So we'll leave it at that. Okay. So that was the conference call. I was pretty pleased with it. Wasn't too bad, given what the status here. So as far as the 500 million ATM, I read through this a couple of times, and I'm trying to understand if you guys have any better understanding of it than I do. I am not an SEC expert or in any way, but they're saying that they are going to be selling up to, the way I understood it was, they had an original ATM that was on June 3rd, 2021 for 500 million. They sold, where they report, the 219 million of that has been sold so far. And the way I understand it is they're adding on another 500 million on top of that, I believe, just amending that ATM to add another 500 million. That's the way at least I understood it. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Love to know if that's a different thing that's happening here or if that is it. Okay. So we'll see how they utilize that. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's it. So as of December 9th, the company has sold 219 million of that ATM so far. Okay, so not too bad. We have seen obviously some dilution, but hasn't been as bad as some other ones as well. So I'll just leave it at that. And hopefully you guys can provide me with some information on this one as well. Next is, let me see here, what else did we have here? Edgar entities. Okay, so their 10K filing is still not out. Let's see if it's out yet. No, I doubt that it will be here. 10K, yeah, it's still not out. So once that gets added up or added to the SEC website, I will put all the information into my spreadsheets, and then we'll go over it at that time. See how things have changed from Q3 to Q4 for them, and see where everything stands at. Looks like right now their debt to equity is going to be okay. Current ratio should be okay as well, based on what they just provided here. So we'll see where Cleanspark goes tomorrow. It's down a little bit in the after hours today. We'll see also where Core goes tomorrow. It's up huge today, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be a little bit of a pullback tomorrow morning, or if it continues going up higher. You just never know on those things. What else do we have? I think that is it for now. We're still waiting for Core to provide us with the numbers, like I said. And yeah, that is it. I'm just rambling on here. So thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. And I'll see you guys in the next one. We'll see what happens. Have a great one. Bye.